Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. It is a beautiful Friday morning, August 5th, 2022. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time, 8 o'clock Central, to talk strategy, share tips, success stories, but ultimately we're here to support each of you. A couple of you had, well, let's back up. So we launched a little over a week ago the SBA Express program, and that has been a resounding success. But a couple of you have reached out over the past few days and said, hey, Tom, we need a turnkey model that is easy, that does not require a lot of interaction. And so we've built that, and that's what we're going to go through today, and we'll answer questions. So as should be shared on the screen, today is August 5th, 2022. Our topic is a turnkey model for monetizing the SBA Express program. We've had several trainings on the SBA Express program. I don't want to waste your time or be too redundant, so just a quick recap, and then we'll get into the turnkey model, the subject of today. From a background perspective, the SBA Express program has been very well received. What we're doing here is going after a specific type of funding, and that's different than we normally do. Normally, when we're going through the 4 modules and building a loan package, it's broad to kind of shake and see what comes out the other end. Here in this case, we're going directly in for an SBA 7A Express loan through our bank partner. So what it means to you, though, is it's certainly an opportunity to earn a good amount of money. You set the amount, which we'll further describe as we go through, but let's just say $10,000 for helping each small business obtain an SBA loan. From the participant's perspective, the value proposition is outstanding, isn't it? Because they're receiving a loan package for an SBA loan. The 7A Express program that we have maxes at $150. I know, I used to work for the SBA. I know SBA loans can go a lot higher. However, in the case of this program with this bank partner, it caps at $150. So if they need more money afterwards, can we help them? Of course, but this program specifically maxes at $150,000. It doesn't have to be $150. It could be $125, $175, $50, what the client wants, but that's the cap. So several really strong selling points. And again, these aren't marketing pitches that you and I are making up that's anything less than truthful. This is coming from the lender, from a federally chartered bank, so we can feel comfortable with it. Funding turnaround is very fast, technically 10 business days, but very fast, 10 days. Quick approvals, typically same day approval. Granted, if we apply later in the afternoon, it'll roll over to the next day. We have a great relationship with the bank. We work closely with them. We'll submit the application for the client, and almost always they'll get back to us same day, and then we'll let the client know. It's a no risk proposition to the client, written guarantee. Yes, startups qualify. A lot of people think that startups can't qualify for SBA loans, and that's not true. That may be true that some banks that offer SBA guaranteed loans won't underwrite startups, but the bank we're working with will and does and has. And then people get real worried about credit. We never worry about credit, right? Because credit's fluid. So even if someone has poor credit, that's not etched in stone. That's just as of today. Credit doesn't have a memory. So if we need to build up their business credit, which is part of what we do, building out their business credit profile, we can do so in short order. But the bottom line is they only need a 165 FICO. And then last bullet on the background, again, you control how much you make. You control. We've had separate trainings where we went into that in more detail, but you're deciding what performance fee you want to attach to these clients. And so if you want to be paid 5% of their capital raise, then a $100,000 capital raise pays you out $5,000. If you want it to be more, want it to be less. And through this campaign, you're keeping 100% of the performance fee. It's all yours. Okay, so that's the background. That's a bit redundant for those of you that hadn't been on prior trainings. Hopefully that gets you caught up. But that's not our focus today. Our focus today is drilling in to the turnkey model. So this is new, exciting, but new. All right, so first you got to understand that you don't have to go figure this out. Scott Stroud, our Chief Marketing Officer, you can reach him at scott@smartmoneyalliance.org, is going to build the whole system for you. He's built systems for many of you. We've talked about our biggest success story, Jeff. Jeff used a system that Scott built, and Jeff literally had over 400 enrollments, not leads, 400 enrollments in one 30-day period. So Scott's got it figured out. He can build it for you based around what you want. So it's not cookie cutter. He will work with you to meet your needs. So it can be built around your branding and your specifications. By having your own system, you'll have excellent real-time reporting, which I know a lot of you desire. And then what's really key, and I think some of you overlook this, maybe because it seems abstract or complicated, but it shouldn't be, is that with the system that Scott will build for you, then you can have a system for a referral team. Because what you want are referral partners. You want other people referring to you because they know what you do and they're economically motivated to do so. And so Scott can build that into the system for you if you want. The automated sequences are built in, and this is crucial. You know, a real system is going to not just take in a lead, but it's going to work the leads that don't convert, follow them. And we'll talk more about that as we go through. The highlights of the turnkey model, and this was really important to Joseph as he advised us. And Joseph, welcome to the call. There's no cold calling involved. There's no selling. You don't even have to speak to the prospects unless you want to. I mean, it's up to you. We're not saying you can't speak to the prospects, but it's a system. And again, when we keep referring to the success story of Jeff last year and his 400 conversions using Scott's system, online system, Jeff did not speak to anyone. He did not speak to a single one of those 400 people that enrolled. So it's a hands-off approach if that's what you want. Some of you like a high-touch approach, and I respect that. You could still reach out and talk to people whenever you want, but the system is going to run automatically even if you don't talk to them. And as I made reference before to the overall comp model, you will set your compensation, and that's going to be built into the system, which I'll show you when we get down to the implementation steps. So you'll set the performance fee that you want to earn. Most of you are going for 10%. So if the client has $150,000 capital raise, you make $15,000, but it's up to you. And you keep all of that through the SBA Express program. That's the agreement we have with the bank. So we're not receiving any performance fee from you or from the client. And so ultimately the turnkey model is essentially a passive model. So let's go ahead and go through the implementation steps. Then I want to open it up for your questions, comments, or concerns. Okay, so what are the implementation steps? Well, Scott's going to get that landing page set up, and it's going to look very similar to our SBA Express loan page now. And so that way, and it can be hosted on your own domain, or Scott can set up a different domain. So it's truly unique to you if you'd like that. So it doesn't have to be just gobbledygook of letters and characters. It can be a URL that you own and you use. By you having your own page, your own link, the referred by field that's on the form is not required for you to receive credit because it's hard coded to you. Some of the important attributes of this landing page include the fact that the first page will be what we'll call a lead capture page, just capturing basic information, name, email, and phone of the prospect. But then they'll hit the button, it'll take them to the next page, which is your online terms and conditions. And so this is a best practice. You're going to have the highest conversion percentage, just like Jeff. Jeff was right about 53 to 54% conversion of his leads, which is huge. And the way that you accomplish that is you make it seamless for the client. So the lead capture page, They fill that out, and it automatically takes them to what we'll say step 2. And step 2 are your terms and conditions. So Scott will build that into your page based upon what you want to charge. So here's the downside. You really need to pick a performance fee and lock into it, because the terms and conditions are going to be linked in automatically. And so it won't be so easy to say, oh, I'll give some people a 9% performance fee and others 11. You really need to lock into one, because the system's going to take them there. And it's just like with anything with online purchases. Most people will agree to the terms and conditions. And so you're going to have a very high level of enrollment. Now, the terms and conditions will also state that if they sign up, but they don't participate, that's a breach, and they still owe you. So that's an interesting strategy. You will get paid regardless if they go through the process and have a capital raise, or if they sign up and then quit, because some people don't have a commitment to follow through. You're owed the money either way. And so that makes it very profitable for you, because you're going to get paid one way or the other. Automation will be built in to increase conversion. So in other words, those that go to the lead capture page, put their name, email, and phone, but let's say that they don't follow through to accept the terms and conditions. So Scott has it set up where those folks will receive texts and or emails with promptings, further education. Because what do you and I know? A general rule of marketing is it takes 5 to 7 exposures for the typical person to sign up. Again, using the Jeff success story. Jeff had about a 53 to 54% conversion rate. I am not saying, because it's not true, I'm not saying that everyone that went to his lead capture page, that half of them immediately accepted terms and conditions. No, some of them did. Others, it took the automated follow-up to get them to accept it. So hopefully that makes sense. This is the key in high conversions, is follow-up, and this is automating the system. Okay, so once Scott has your landing page and your your system set up, now we need to start plugging in leads. And you can plug in leads from wherever you want, but in this turnkey system, turnkey model, what we're recommending is targeting brand new, newly formed businesses. And so Scott has the messages, the automated messages that are tailored to this group. So again, that doesn't mean that you couldn't enroll any small business, those that haven't formed yet, or those that are mature. Not saying that, but for our outreach campaign, what we're recommending is to target newly formed LLCs, C Corps, S Corps, and even DBAs. You might say, well, that sounds good because they're ripe and they're new and probably looking for funding, but where do I find them? Well, you can get 150 leads for free on dataaxlegenie.com. And so this is the specific link. This used to be called Reference USA, used to be called Sales Genie, but you can go here. You can get a demo account and get 150 free leads. You might say, well, what's going to happen, Tom, after the 150 free leads? Well, with 150, you're going to be making some money. And so at that point, I guess you got a couple options. You could use a different email, hint, hint, and get another demo account for another 150. Or you could subscribe and pay for it. We've told you that many libraries provide access to this. So you could go to your library, your reference librarian, and see if you can get access to this through your library for free. Or you could go to other sources of leads. But this at least will get you 150 free leads to get the process going. Scott will take care of uploading that new list for you, and then the automation will take over. And so that the text campaign is really valuable, really effective. All right, and so then the clients will go to your page, not all of them, of course, but some of them will go to your lead capture page, and then either immediately or after some follow-up, they'll move on and accept your terms and conditions, which is the goal. That makes them a client of yours. Now they've agreed to participate. They've agreed to pay you the performance fee, and they've also agreed if they quit that they still owe you the performance fee, so you can't lose. You're going to go ahead and collect up front the document processing fee, which is forwarded to us so our paralegals can build out their SBA loan package. If you wish to charge a higher amount and mark it up, you can, and you pocket the difference, of course. That would be your discretion. We'll take care of all the work, so you don't have to do any of the work. And then the client goes to funding and you get paid your performance fee. So let me make this a bit smaller, and I'd love the feedback that any of you have on this system. So first, Jeanette asked, do we have a performance fee agreement you can use? Absolutely. Yep. That's provided to all of our white label partners, and you can get it off the white label partner page, Jeanette. It is there and ready for you. But again, what's going to happen is Scott already has all of that, and so you don't have to recreate the wheel. And then Scott's going to build it into the online terms and conditions, because you want it to be super simple for the client. You don't want them to have to wait and get a different email and Adobe or a DocuSign or whatever. We want to make it seamless. Okay. Who else has questions regarding the turnkey model for monetizing the SBA Express program? Shondell, Pauline, Lon, Joseph, Jeanette, Dawood, Collis, Charles, Bernard, Alfred. Who else has questions on today's topic of how to monetize this? All right, Samuel's asking about what it's going to cost for Scott to build this out. I don't know. You've got to get with Scott and figure out what functionality you want, how much customization. So that's between you and Scott. So just email Scott, scott@smartmoneyalliance.org, hook up with him, tell him that you're wanting to get the SBA Express program automation set up. He'll have some questions for you based upon what you want. For example, do you want the online terms and conditions embedded and so forth? But he'll work it up for you. Dawood asks, is there a separate contract for the SBA Express? There is. And so we send it out to each client that enrolls. And of course, Scott has that. And so Scott's going to be able to build that in for you. But yeah, yes, there's everything that we do is going to be in writing, and we're going to have mutually agreed upon agreements. And so we'd like you to do the same. So an online terms and conditions is an executable legal contract. And Scott has all the language for you. And you can edit, of course, but specifically what you'll want to do is identify the performance fee that you want to charge, because that's got to be built in. All right, so let's see, that was Dawood's question. Thank you, Shondell. All right, Collis asked a good question. So he's saying, well, wait, what if they start and then they quit? He's asking, how does he get paid? Well, it's no different than if I just bought a new SUV for my wife last week. And so when I went to the dealership, I said, okay, I want that Jeep Grand Wagoneer on the showroom floor, beautiful new ride. And so I agreed to finance it. So I made an agreement to pay for it. If I don't pay for it, do I still owe the money? I sure do. Same thing happens with agreements, right? So Collis, if you have a client that signs up and then they breach the agreement, as long as the agreement's written properly, which this one of course is, then they still owe you. And so they might voluntarily pay you, or they might involuntarily pay you, but they owe it to you. So it's posted as accounts receivable on your balance sheet, Collis, and they owe it to you. And if they don't pay voluntarily, then of course, then you can accelerate that to either third-party collections, litigation. You can resell those debt instruments. There's a number of ways to liquidate it. But yeah, if they agree to do something and your agreement is written properly, they're responsible if they quit. Just like we've got some white label partners. They sign up and then they quit. Well, that doesn't mean that they're no longer responsible. So hopefully that answered your question, Collis. If not, respond back with more specifics. So again, thanks to Joseph and the others who contributed to putting this model together, and of course, especially Scott, who is going to build it out for you. Who has questions regarding why this is an attractive campaign to take it out to the marketplace? Who has questions on how the model works, how you get paid, how you make money, or the implementation steps? It's pretty straightforward, I think, but I'm here to support you. Now, you could take bits and pieces of this. You could say, well, I can do this myself. Do it yourself. Go build it yourself. It doesn't matter to me. Go build it yourself. You might say, well, what's a really simple way to get started? Well, a really simple way is you could jump all the way down here and go get the list. Oops, sorry. Grab the list of newly formed businesses. You could go do that. And then you could just hash out some text on your cell phone to them if you wanted, but that's not an automated system. The question is, can we do this all across the United States? Yes. So we don't have protected territories. And so anywhere that you want to help clients, you're able to help them. The SBA program is for US-based businesses, must be for-profit, doesn't work for nonprofits. Now, if you're working with a nonprofit, there's an easy workaround. They can form a for-profit subsidiary, and then we could go do the capital raise for them, of course. But other than the fact that it needs to be a legal business, can't do human trafficking or elder porn or anything like that. So it needs to be legal and US based. Other than that, there's really not much of filters you have to apply to it. So yeah, Collis, you can market anywhere in the United States. Well, you can market anywhere in the world, but we can only work with United States businesses for the reasons I stated. So here's a nice, clean turnkey system for those of you that want to plug in. You know exactly what to do. And maybe you're confused by some of this. I would just encourage you, reach out to Scott. Scott has been with us for quite a while. He's our chief marketing officer. He is just an upstanding guy. I think of him as a grown-up Boy Scout. He is so honest and has so much integrity. He'll shoot you straight. He won't exaggerate. He won't pitch you on anything. He is a great man to work with, and he's helped a lot of clients. And again, he built the system for Jeff, and I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? It works. And frankly, this proposition is stronger than the proposition that Jeff used last year, because the SBA Express program didn't exist then. All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns? Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. What's your action step? Reach out to Scott. Work with him to build this. All right, Collis is asking me cost. That's what I said, Collis. I don't know what the cost is. You've got to get with Scott and figure out what all functionality you want, and he'll give you a quote. It's very affordable. If you need financing, we can set up financing. It's not going to cost you much, but you've got to work with him, because this is building a system for you based around what you're wanting it to do. Do you want it to text? Do you want it to email? Do you only want one of the two of them? Do you want him to be uploading the leads list for you each month? So you've got to get with Scott, and he can help you with those details. But it'll be a fair price. And again, if you need financing for it, which I doubt you will, because it'd be so low of a price, but we can facilitate that. That's the business that you and I are in. All right. Well, I think we're good to go. So please, please, please email Scott. You see it, scott@smartmoneyalliance.org. Email him. Say, hey, I need to hook up with you, Scott, regarding this SBA Express program marketing campaign. And he'll get a time scheduled with you or visit with you right away and build out a plan. So this is a turnkey way to help a lot of people, make a lot of money, very little time in your time investment on your behalf. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you back on Monday morning. Have a good weekend. Bye.